So why is the war? Why do we fight? There's one sea, one sky, one earth. So you and I gotta learn to live together. When one hurts, when one needs, we all gotta learn to live together. Peace, make peace, make peace, peace, alright. Isn't it time to stop time? Isn't it time, mother, stop the crying? Stop the fighting and the hate. We gotta make peace before it's too late. There's one sea, one sky, one earth. So you and I gotta learn to live together. When one hurts, when one needs, we gotta learn to live together. Peace, in peace, in peace, alright, peace. Thank you guys for joining me. I'm late. On Between Two Worlds and Chasing Shadow Chasing program. I have been having a bit of a time with these dumbass idiots. So anyways, let me make this switch around here on the screen. Yeah, I guess I'm having troubles with having to deal with YouTube. They kept on saying my camera is not working and that it's just keeps on shutting me off. And I'm going like, why is it shutting me off? Because my camera is nowhere near being used anywhere elsewhere, but they keep on saying my camera was, but it's not whatsoever. Anyways, I'm here. So I'm late. I feel like the rabbit, like Alice in Wonderland. Gee, I wonder why, folks, right? The rabbit in the hole. Thank you, Catherine. Yeah, and thank you guys for joining me on the Facebook and the YouTube chat room. Like I said, I got a different camera on. This is not as clear. Those who do come into the chat room, you can actually have a look on the page and see if I can go and drop that in there. Hang on. Let me drop that one page inside. For some reason, pages are freezing. Really, Derek? Okay. Let's do this. Refresh the page. I'm just dropping into Facebook and let them know if anybody wants to go into that. They can go into the chat room. I'm going to drop the link at the top of the screen. And then they want to go to YouTube. That's where I am as well. It's up to me here, as everyone else is. Yeah, you got two rooms to go to. You can do the YouTube and or the Facebook chat room. Now, tonight, there is a bit of, what happened last week. I want to let you guys know what happened last week. I thought it was my computer, and I couldn't figure out how come my computer, the fan was going real loud. And I thought, what the heck's going on here? Because I've never heard that loud before. Like, it was getting louder and louder and louder. And I thought, okay, I'll check it over. And looking at it, all of a sudden I heard this poof drop. I lost both YouTube and Facebook at the same time. Because as I'm trying to say something to Facebook, It quit. It spun in circles, and then it quit. And I'm going like, okay, something's going on here. So I scrambled trying to figure out how come my computer wasn't working, and it was actually turned itself off. I mean, it turned itself off. It wasn't overheated because everybody's at. I have people trying to tell me, "Oh, because it's overheated." No, it wasn't overheated. Um, it just turned off, and so I did a service on it to see nothing wrong with it. It just quit, up and quit. So I checked the booting surface, no problem. Like you don't hear it winding up loud now, do you? No, it was never serviced. It was never served by anybody. It's quiet. So then I tried. Then went back to Facebook and it never showed anything of why it shut itself down. It just did, and I'm thinking, okay, great. So I'm waiting for the whole thing to start over again to come back on, and I'm sitting on the chair. Nothing turned itself on, and then next thing you know, I don't remember nothing. I must have closed my eyes. I was out. Now I start my show at 7. I never opened my eyes until 9:30, and I wasn't tired. I never opened my eyes until 9:30, but I didn't know it was 9:30 at first. I just opened. I was like, whoa, like this, say. But I had a lot of visions in my I guess being out for an hour and a half. I opened my eyes and went, oh man, I got to get back to the guys. And next thing you know, too late. And yet I turned the computer back on, like make sure it's okay, turn the cell phone back on. It was fine, as if nothing ever happened. So I thought, okay, I got memories sent through to me from spirit, and I'm not talking about just spirit. I'm talking about extraterrestrial spirit friends. They wanted me to know, to give me an update what's going on, because at that night they didn't want me to talk about what was being, I guess you say, being protected by them. And I'm not saying by protected, others being protected, and I was not allowed to keep my or to say anything. I didn't know. I thought, okay, I'll just say this, but I guess they made sure that I wouldn't say anything. So my mom, I was just like zipped, not talk about it. And not a bad thing. It was basically I was going to share some really fabulous information that I thought would be interesting or important for people to know, and yet it wasn't the time, because I'll tell you why. Um, this week, the Japanese government, all of the Japanese government, okay, all of them retired, quit. They all quit. All the Japanese government quit. They up and walked away from their position. And I'm going like, you kidding me? And here, I mean, if you guys remember, I'm not sure if you guys remember any stories about what I had talked about. My good friend Ron Bard, when the time they had the tsunami in Japan, I predicted that a few days, about a week before it was going to happen. No one took me serious. And yet, when Ron got there, and I told Ron about it, it was like I was supposed to go to Japan with him and to read up there. Like basically, there's a Japanese corporations that look for people that are really good at what they do. And Ron trusted me. He wanted me to go. He says, Derek, I need you to come with me. You're the only one that I can trust. And this fellow lived in New York. And so he was well known in Japan. They called him the super psychic. And that was their words, the super psychic. So Ron was up there, or he's about to head up there. And I was supposed to meet up with him in Japan. And I called him 3 days, 3 or 4 days before. I had these visions for 3 or 4 nights straight. The same repeat dream, which was I saw water floods, people drowning, fire, explosions. I mean, I saw all kinds of stuff. I saw the tidal wave coming in. It was horrible. People drowning. It didn't make any sense about people drowning. I thought, well, okay, maybe it could be, maybe somebody fell over the ship, but I wasn't sure what to say. But I told Ron, I said, I can't go. I can't go to this. And I said, I don't think you should go either. And So, anyways, I told Ron, I described it to him when I saw, and he's okay. Well, keep that in mind. He says, well, like that was supposed to go in March, and then they were supposed to go again in August because he wanted to come with him the second time. And so I didn't say anything. I said, okay, well, I'll leave March and I'll go with you in August. He said, great, no problem. So he left. 3 days after he was there, they had the tsunami. He was stuck in Sapporo for a month, and the planes couldn't leave. It was a major tsunami. Apparently, one of the plants, or the plant in Japan, exploded. And apparently, all that, including caused a tidal wave, radiation, the whole 9 yards, a lot of deaths, people dying. And they said, oh, there's a couple of 100,000 people that died. And I found out later from a friend of mine who is from Japan, and she said there was over 1.5 million plus people that died in Japan, and they did not want to share that with the public of Japan. He said because she said if they did tell the truth, that would be a shame to the government. Japan is very protective of their government, and so basically it was an absolute lie. So what she had done is she exposed them, and so like I said, I saw that, and Ron, when he came back, home, he wasn't the same. Ron was sickly. He wasn't feeling good a lot. Apparently, wasn't long after he passed away, and apparently, how I understood it, I think this fellow actually had a lot too much radiation and run through his body, and apparently there was so much radiation in the water on the north side of Japan that the people were, all the farmers, whoever survived, all the farmers and the water, and I guess they were supplying that to some of the villages in the southern area part of Japan, the markets, to the flea market, that sort of thing, or farmers markets or farm markets, to bring in and sell. And they're all, and she was telling me, Suki was saying to me this. She says that you always have to ask the people, is the water from the north, or the vegetables from the north? And if they say yes, then you don't touch the food, you don't touch the water, because it's full of radiation. Well, when Ron was there, he didn't know. They were just handing him water and whatever food and he was eating. So Ron didn't know, and he passed away. It wasn't too long after, and he actually had his daughter with him. Like it was supposed to be him and I, and then he took his daughter to take my place. So yeah, and it was a great loss to lose Ron Bard. It was a good friend. Him and I worked together a lot on doing so many shows, radio programs, television shows, earlier years before. He was promoting a lot of actors and people on his program. Ron was one of the original guys that tried to start up. We were going to start a televised radio station, and we were going to base it out of the internet service. So we had Todd Bates, myself, very well-known fellow, Todd Bates, myself. Oh my God, there was a few actors that he got to come on board. They were financially backing it. And so we were really doing well. And Ron wanted to come on to this. So we kicked it up a notch. But again, like I said before, we lost him. And Japan lost a great man. But Japan lost a really good man that did so well, helping the city, helping the people. He and he served in the military. He was actually, um, I think he was the National Guard, not National Guard, but he was, what do you call him? Like the sheriff. What do you call those guys? They actually have the arm bars or the arm badges, and they're actually like a cop, right? MP. He was an MP. So, and he served in the military. One of the top dogs there. I think he became major, um, in the military. Corporal, or no, not corporal. I think it was major. So he served for amount of years in the military. So he was a really nice guy. Um, Ron did have some weight problems, but That was Ron. Ron's a hardy fellow. He was. If you ever get a chance to go online, folks, just look up, just type in the word Ron Bard, Bard, and type in the word super psychic, and you hear all about him. And that's how much him and I were. We loved working with each other. Ron was fun to work with. We were just so much fun. We had a great time together. Like I said before earlier, the reason why I was going to make a prediction about certain things are going to happen, and I felt the government collapse last week when I was saying something's going to happen in Japan. It's not going to be good, and I kept on seeing a dragon flying over the government building, and that shows me it's going to be a collapse. And it was. It basically it turned out that all of Japan quit, resigned. All of the Japanese government officials resigned in their government. So that even the prime, I think the prime minister, I could be wrong, but maybe possibly the prime minister stepped down too. So, yeah, it was like shock, shock. And then I just read the thing today. I'm like, holy crow, it happened. Wow, okay. But again, I guess it was certain things that they had to wait, and I guess they're specifically there to shock people, and we can predict. A lot of people like myself, and there's other people that I know are remote viewers. We like to remote view and see what will happen. It's a different kind of prediction. It's not your go to get a job kind of prediction. Okay, well, am I going to have a job? This is totally different. I remote view going into a building. I remote view going across the land. I remote view what it would look like, the turnout. And yet it can change if you warn people ahead of time saying this is what's going to happen or may happen, so be aware of it, not to be there if it's something bad. If I see something good, then I'll say, hey, you need to get there, right? So this is what I've been doing for the last week. Try to sort out how come. And I would say the last few weeks I was napping so much. Oh my God, I'd sit in the chair like gone, and I go like, what the hell is going on with me? So it is basically that I was getting feedback, more stuff, more data, more data, and yeah, I'll wake up and go like, where am I? It's not a sickness, it's not an illness because I looked it up. I'm fine now. I have never fallen back to sleep since that's last week. I've been fine ever since. So I guess what spirit likes to do, and they can control your electronics, they can control the room if necessary, and that's what they did. I strongly feel this is what they did by, I guess, not, it wasn't a warning, it was just a to protect me, but also I had to see some certain things that were important that would be prepared for the following week or the next few days. And I was getting lately, I've been getting a lot of political calls from people in politics, and even lawyers. For some reason, I don't know why. I'm getting these people coming to call me up, and they're saying, "Derek, can you tell us about this, or what do you think about that?" And I think what it is. I mean, this has nothing to do with Trump. Has nothing to do with Biden. This is totally in my regime of my area where I live in Canada. But also, I make predictions of what's going to happen in the near future. And there's actually a fellow. I'm going to bring up his name here for a second. Bring that up. Um, that a fellow by the name of CS. I can't mention his name because YouTube and Facebook don't like him too much. He's barred from the both editions, but I'm sure you may know who he is. He's got big teeth. A very smiley fellow. But anyways, he mentioned about a fellow. Where are we here? Is this the one? No, that's not the one. Someone sent me this one, and I kept the other one. Where did I put it? It's been coming out more often, Mr. CS. But he talked about a fellow who goes by the name of Marcus Ray. And Marcus Ray is not who you think he is. And I would take Mr. C's word because to me he sounded very like he sounded too, I don't know, something wasn't right. Like first of all, we're all like all the guys that were part of the truckers convoy suddenly disappeared, and after all, some of the people were taken to jail, some went home. Like suddenly, all the whole protest became quiet. I mean, absolute quiet. Nobody talked. I'm wondering, like, what's going on here? Nobody cracked a smile. Nobody said a word. And then up in Alberta, northern Alberta, up in Coots, which I know the place well because I used to cook years and years ago back in the 70s. I wanted to cook for this fellow over for a day. I was one of the chefs, or I would say chefs, a cook in the Coots restaurant, just right next door to Sweetgrass, Montana. Anyways, all the protesters, the truckers, are out at Coots. The farmers are out at Coots, and Marcus Ray showed up. Now, I didn't know anything about this guy. All I know is that he was there, and just trying to be a cowboy, whatever have you. Apparently, according to Mr. CS, he says that he's not who he is. He's actually originally from England, who actually has a very strong English accent, but he tries to pretend to be one of us. And apparently he's been involved with a lot of bankruptcies, fraud, civil claims, and apparently he was I don't care if he was a stripper, but he was a male dancer at one time. And so anyways, but Mr. CS had said that there's even criminal files on this man, that he goes by the name of, his real birth name is Chilcott, Chilcott. So his real name is Mark Chilcott, aka Marcus Ray. So if you do hear this thing, because apparently what this Chilcott's trying to do, or Marcus Ray's trying to do, is create a protest across Canada. But his version of it is they want to like attack, that sort of thing. And no, that's not what we're slated to do. We're not supposed to do that. And yet, his words were pushed. Where push comes to shove, then we're going to go even further, and that I think is ridiculous. So let's see here, and the same thing. Mr. CS had just sent me a message to another one, and this was about the.
Check this out, guys. Just today, the CDC on August 11th, 2022, updated their quarantine and isolation guidelines. So now, if you have no symptoms of COVID, you don't ever need to quarantine. So imagine all those people that got tickets for not quarantining because the CDC said so, even though now they're saying you don't have to.
Now you know. We, the unjabbed, are free and clear. Anyways, if you want to find out, go to you guys can join my Telegram page. You'll find out more about it as well. Now, something else I talked about, I would say, last year and a half, nanotechnology, right? But the nanotechnology goes into the arm, and that was going into the arm with your jab, right? And I always have fun with people. I'll take my cell phone, and when I don't make fun of them, I'll make fun with them, but I'll tell my clients, anybody comes over to see me, and I say, "Oh, did you get jabbed?" I'm like, "No, what's that?" And the next time, you're in your arm. "Oh yeah, I got that," or whatever it is. I said, "Well, can I show you something?" I said, "You're being tracked right now by your federal government." "No." "Yeah." I said, "Well, yeah, and your cell phone there." I said, No. I said, "You can leave your cell phone at home, and they know exactly where you are. You're being tracked right now as we speak." "No way." I said, "Yeah." "You know why? Because what you got in your arm, there's nanotechnology in you. They put it inside of you." "What?" And so I said, "Here." I pressed my Bluetooth, Wi-Fi and whole nine yards, and Bluetooth, and I just tracked them. Boom, here's your code on the screen. I said, "Yeah." I just press this, turn on your Q code. Oh, I know, and everything. And what it does, it actually exposes that person's identity. You basically pretty well know a lot of things about people. about all their private information is now in my hands or in a restaurant or wherever you go into, because they will have their Q codes machine on, and as soon as they walk up to you, that server will know exactly if you were jabbed or not jabbed. And you will see a lot of these servers, if they are jabbed, they themselves will not get very close to the unjabbed. They will stand at a distance from me or someone else because they're so unsure. They're thinking that we are the bad guys. Really? But this is something I always say is that it's funny, because if I see the server wearing a mask, I said, "Oh, you must be an alien. You must be part alien." Well, how do you know that? I said, "Well, because it's why you're wearing a mask. You may not want to show me the rest of your face, what it looks like." And then they get really upset. What do you mean part alien? I said, "Well, yeah, you could be, because what they put in your arm is part alien too. So it's going to change your facial features. You will begin to look different. Your eyes may shift, and teeth may start to look different. You may be more salivic. You may decide wanting to drink blood. You know, and if you have any side effects, let me know. I would love to find out." They thought I was joking. They thought, no, no, you're crazy. No, no, I'm serious. You never know. This is what we've been finding out now. Can you visualize? Just think about it, folks. When you set up a person like that in a restaurant, especially servers or anybody that make sure you use the word, there's side effects to this jabs, because there is one in there that actually, part of the side effects is craving blood. And, it's possible that you you know, may crave blood at nighttime. And they're going, yeah, ha, ha, yeah, sure, sure. And I go, no, I'm serious. How do you know? What do you know about that stuff that's put in you? How come? Did you ever ask them what's in it first before you put it in your arm? I don't want to talk about it. I said, really? Why would you not want to talk about it when you actually went ahead and got it done? So then I got them nervous. I have a couple people online like, bloodsuckers, bloodsuckers, bloodsuckers. Side effects. Oh yeah, I'd like to pull her leg. I'm good at I'm good at that. But again, you got to wake them up. You got to wake them up. And I'm not upset with people wearing a mask anymore. I mean, I do get upset seeing a child still being forced to wear one, but the times that I do see the child still to this day having to wear a mask is because the Asian are the one forcing their kids to wear the mask. Very seldom you see any other ethnic backgrounds get the kids to wear a mask, whether they're shopping or not. I do know that some of the schools are trying to reinforce it back again, get the kids to start wearing masks again. No, ain't going to happen, folks, because again, your charter. Okay. Um, I want to bring this up because there's a reason for it. Um, to bring this up for others to know, and please share this with others as well. Okay, basically, there's actually a website called Action for Canada. ACTION number 4 Canada.com. Now go there. When you do get a chance to go online, um, download some of the PDF files that you're going to need if necessary. Then just make copies of them for yourself. If by some chance that a company or someone that of higher position, if is trying to put scares in people, trying to tell them um, trying to cause trouble, um, basically download the PDF file, sign their name on there, like basically write their name down, company name, or whatever have you, write their name down. Because basically this is called a cease and desist. This is actually under the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms, also the Nuremberg 2.0 and the Geneva Convention. Okay, and that's the third, the Geneva Convention. Now the Geneva Convention was used in the Second World War. So was the Nuremberg Code. But during the war, when it took place, they said under the Geneva Convention, you can't do this, can't do that, which basically they're talking about torturing. You cannot torture people under the Geneva Convention. And that was because the Germans were not the ones torturing first. Apparently, it was the American soldiers torturing the Germans, and then the Germans came back, and there's vice versa. I mean, I'm not saying who did what to start out, but basically, it was because the American military were trying to get in as quick as possible to take down whatever village or to get rid of the Germans. The next thing you know, there was torture, whatever. It was crazy. You'll see in a lot of movies and books and how it came about. But anyways, the fact is that they used the Geneva Convention consistently in the American military and between the Germans and the Americans and the French and the Italian, England, mostly Europe. Um, yeah, under the Geneva Convention. I don't think anything other outside of that was used, but you can use it because the Geneva Convention consists of all international countries. Okay, so again, folks, the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms, Nuremberg Code 2.0, and you want to use the word 2.0, not just Nuremberg Code 2.0, and also Geneva Convention. Okay, so Terry says, that's me. I'm the chapter leader. We have a new travel NOL on the website too. You presented to the custom officers who harassed you about the arrive can. I have a lot of people send me their videos going across the US or coming from the US back to Canada, and they send me their videos. And I'm so proud of these guys that they refuse to answer questions that relates to their health to the health authority that are actually stationed in the border. Now, number one, health authorities had never had an office at the border ever before. Health authorities are still wearing masks in their offices. Health authority is wanting you to submit and sign papers. In fact, they were actually taking your passport away from you and including your ID, and they were trying to go through all of your personal stuff to find something on you. Um, and the thing is that they couldn't find nothing, but yet they'll say to you, "Are you going to quarantine?" No, I'm not going to answer that. I'm not going to answer you. And in fact, I always advise people whenever you're even flying, okay, there's a electronic form that you fill out, and it will say, "Are you going? When you get home, are you going to quarantine 14 days?" You don't have to quarantine for 10 or 14 days. You never do have to. But if you check it off that you are, that's where you signal the police, and the police are going to go look for you for those next 10, 14 days. So they actually will track you. So you don't want to even check that off because you want to refuse, okay? You want to refuse the arrive can. There is no law that says that you have to follow their law. There is no law. It is all they're only calling it mandatory. Okay, so Terry says you presented to the custom officers who harassed you about the arrive can. She says, I refuse it coming back from Florida. Good for you, Terry. And she's back home. All right. You can refuse, but you have to stand your grounds. What I do recommend, folks, is keep some files of these charters with you and copies, and also like put these little notelets inside your suitcases. Any documentation that you find that's from Action for Canada, you put them in your make a couple copies and put one inside of your suitcase. So when they decide to pilfer through and they say, "Oh, what's these?" and they see the papers, and all of a sudden, "Oh, you're the smart one." Guess what? They're not going to pester you. They know you're one step ahead of them, right? That's what you got to do. You'll be one step ahead. If you don't, you're going to go like, "I don't know why they won't let me go through." These papers, those papers you leave in your suitcase, that intimidates them. They don't like they don't like conflict, and the border guards don't give a rat's butt about you coming back to have the arrive can. They don't really care. They're just told to do what they're told to do. because their job is to find anything bad on you. If you got nothing bad on you, they're not going to bother you. It's actually a Arrive-Can. Arrive-Can actually is a health authority. That's all they are. A health authority are a bunch of um, dumbass idiots that have no experience in alternative health or any kind of health. They're not even doctors. They're assigned to intimidate you, and they hire big, fat guys, tall ones, wearing the masks. Or they'll wear their uniform, whatever given to. I can't. What Pastor Arthur Pawlowski calls it. They'll put on their Gestapo uniform, see if they can intimidate you. You don't take their crap. They're people like you and I. I'm sure they're doing their job, but they're being a bunch of idiots. And like I said, I'm proud. I'm proud of Terry. Terry, good for you. Absolutely. I'm so proud of you that you refused. Because we do have a charter, folks. We do have a Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms. We have Nuremberg Code 2.0. We got the also make sure you're on that list. Make that list be Geneva Convention. Under the Geneva Convention, they cannot touch you. And if anybody says, "Oh, that's nothing," it's called international law. It overrides the United Nations. It overrides the United Nations. You know that? It overrides any federal political government. These little listings here are militarized. Okay? They're militarized. They're not just these little volunteers. No, this is international law. These laws were made specifically to protect the people from being tortured to death. Right? That's what this is for. That's why you have this. You can also, one day, anybody who ever gets smart, you could say, proud member of the Nuremberg Code 2.0 on your t-shirt. Try that. Proud member of the Geneva Convention. Try that. Put it on your t-shirt. Proud member of the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms, Canada, right? When you are using these on your t-shirt, any kind of labeling, whatever it says, a patch, you name it, on you, and you have, I'm not just saying a sign, but also just say proud member of, or I stand behind, or I support. You got to use those, no matter what, whether it's at a protest, whether it's as a convention, you name it, carry it with you. Always have it with your side. I always tell people this: if you're going to use it a lot, laminate it. If you're going to put it on paper, laminate it. And you can use it for continuous times. Make a few copies, some handouts to some people. A lot of people really have no idea where their freedoms are. They have no idea. I can't cross the border. They said I can't cross the border. Yeah, the mainstream media tells you that. Oh, you can't cross the border because you got to do this, you got to do that. I have friends who have flown out of this country to other countries and not even jabbed. And they've been doing that for a long time. They take private planes if necessary, but they don't have to do any of that. No jabbing. And you always will see, and hearing, saying, oh, well, I'm hearing it lately that not even the unjabbed are going to get away with it. They're going to have to get theirs too, because we're going to pass a law here in the country in Canada. And if you don't get that jab, you can't get no food. Really? Who's telling you I can't get food? True dumb. Gee, this guy's got 3 jets he hired to go on vacation, and he's got 3 other politicians with him that are flying to another countries. 3 jets, our taxes, our tax dollars, private jets, Canadian government flying out, wasting our tax dollars and wasting our money away just for their own personal need. Do you see them wearing masks? Nope. Do you see them jabbed? Never were. They were never jabbed. You'll see the video look like they were. They were all using the Hollywood jab. And it was proven. Or they'll say, "Oh, well, I was exempted because I'm in politics. I'm exempt because I'm a politician. Or I'm exempt because I'm this." Okay. Well, you're exempt. Guess what? I'm exempt. Doesn't make me a bad guy. I've been walking into stores ever since the whole thing began. Since the whole thing began, I have never, ever, once, ever got jabbed. Very little ever time have I ever been wearing a mask to walk into a store. I walk into a store when shopping. When everybody had to say, "Well, you have to wear a mask," I put my little badge on there that I made and walked right in. You can't touch me. And the first thing they asked was, "Oh, you have to wear a mask." I said, "No, I don't." I said, "If you really think this is a virus, you really think this is a virus, you'd be bleeding out of every freaking hole in your body. So you really think it's a virus? You think everybody's going to die if they don't wear a mask? Think about it. Who started it?" So that's exactly right, Terry. I mean, I don't know, no face diaper for me. I love it when actually one person started the idea of calling it a face diaper, and everybody else started. Like David Icke, one started it. David Icke goes on stage in England and goes, "We're not going to wear our face diapers any longer." And next thing you know, everybody's going calling them face diapers. So that's how it quickly picks it up, right? No, and they have never, no, and you're right, Terry, they have never isolated it whatsoever. There has been so many doctors that have tried to prove it, that it was never isolated, and then next thing you know, they don't have their jobs. There is a doctor here that was exposing, let's see here, was exposing the blood clots just recently, and that's Dr. Carrie Madej, Madej. If you want to find that very same video, go on my Telegram page. She's exposing them. Let's see here. The other one is, what do we got here? Yeah, the doctor here lost his job just recently to expose. Yeah. Um, where are you here? Dude. Let's see. Oh, before I forget this one here. Former Calgary television producer, he got fined by the ASC in 2015 and was arrested on felony charges in the U.S. Really? Um, so he was trading, let's see here, banned from trading by the Alberta Security Commission in 2015, has been arrested in felony charges in the United States. Yeah, we got some idiots out there stealing money. Um, Mexico has been taking, or not Mexico, Brazil has been taking the law under in their own hands now lately, because law has so corrupt that the citizens are taking over to protect their own citizens. There are people on motorcycles that are trying to rob people, either driving in their cars or walking down the streets. And now there's actually citizens that'll come out at night or day, and they watch the neighborhoods, and they literally, you'll see the bad guys with guns, and you'll see the citizens run them over, not get out of their car. They run them over to get the guns out of their hands. So it's pretty precarious. But that's what happens in Brazil. They protect them, protect their own, the citizens. Yeah, the crossing land border without disclosing medical information. ArriveCan app. They're trying to get people to do the ArriveCan app, and I'll tell you one thing: there is no elder. I mean, there are elders out there that don't even have cell phones, and they also want to visit their families or come home or visit families, and they're not even allowing. Okay, um, the elders that don't have cell phones, that They don't have arrived, the CAN app. So basically, they're telling the elders they can't come across, can't come in, or can't come into Canada if they don't have the arrived CAN app. Well, they don't download it. No, you don't have to download it. What law tells you have to download it, right? Steph says, when do you think we'll have the new technology? I'm tired of these damn apps. They got rid of them. Soon too many people are evil on these apps, especially for 4G. Yeah, you know, when, let's put it this way, when Starlink is activated, and that will be possibly by the end of this year or beginning of this 2023, but I will say by the end of this year, once Starlink starts, none of our internet services are going to work. We have to link up to Starlink. That means all Google's, you name it, anything that was corrupted, Amazon, you name it, are going to be down. Okay, that's what I will say. I can't say when, but I will say that Skylink or Starlink is and actually that is Nikola Tesla's baby. Oh, those you may not know that Tesla's still alive, right? Yeah, he is. Tesla is over 100 years old, but because he's not from Earth, he never was born here. He was born on Venus. They live for 1,000 years there and even more. So Tesla's still here and he's very much alive. So he's helping the white hats and he's been busy fixing things. So it's still happening. Not to worry, folks. Terry says we're filing criminal charges against employers, etc., for assault, asking employees to get the jab or they'll be terminated, get leave of absence. Our first hearing is August 22nd. Good for you, Terry. Laid to them hard. Make sure you use, if you can, use all three laid charges, because number one, the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms. Let me tell you guys, if you don't know this, any officer that is assigned to become an officer, first of all, they have to be sworn in under the charter. Okay, that makes it legal that they can actually they have the right to represent a government. Okay, they represent the government, and they're actually there specifically to serve and to protect the citizens. When they actually sign, as well as they also swear in under the charter. That's why Trudeau can't get rid of the charter, because it's under the police law and it's under federal law. He can't just get rid of it. So if any officer decides to write a fake ticket, or let's say a parking ticket person, I won't call them officers because they're not. Say a parking ticket person decides to give you a parking ticket, and they know very well that the ticket isn't legal because, say, there's still money, like you already still got coin in there, but he or she will stay trying to take a picture of your license, and they'll say, oh, well, we're going to give you a ticket anyways because, even though you just came back here and put more money back in, they're going to give you a ticket. Well, number one, they can't, because the money does not go to Canada, to our Canadian government. It goes to the United States. Yes, all your metered money, Canadian metered money, goes to the United States. Did you know that? It goes to the US, not here. A company they hire to do all the work, all that money goes to the United States. Doesn't come here. Now, we've got our mayor, illustrious mayor here in Surrey, British Columbia. He's actually told all of the restaurants, especially McDonald's, that they have to charge 50 cents for a paper bag. Why? Well, they said because it is supposedly in BC that's illegal to use plastic bags. Illegal? No, it's not, folks. It's not illegal to use plastic bags. There are plastic bags that are not made of plastic. There are certain bags now that actually they will break apart. They'll fall apart in pieces. They will not cause any problems with the earth. No animal will die. They're edible, so to speak. And they've been around for a couple of years, but now they're trying to make it that all plastic bags are not good for you. And people are going, I won't touch that plastic bag. Oh no, it's going to destroy the animals and kill the fish. No, it won't. I got plastic bags that will actually deteriorate after. They're good for a long time, but if you lay them outside in the sun, they just turn to powder. There's a certain kind of heat that this particular bag will actually deteriorate. So it doesn't affect the earth, doesn't affect the animals or the birds, right? That's what they're doing now, but yet they're taking it too far. But anyways, like I said before, the our mayor is charging 50 cents, or actually telling the restaurants to charge 50 cents for paper bags. Like basically, if you want to pick up your food, and they said, "Well, do you want a bag with that?" Well, of course we all do. Everybody wants a paper bag, right? Oh no, it's cost 50 cents. Guess where that 50 cents goes to? The city of Surrey. There was no law ever passed. No law to say that you got to pay 50 cents for a paper bag. But they are in grace to help the Plastic Bag Protection Agency or whatever, who are to save the earth. Okay, we'll do that for you. Guess where that money goes? To the city of Surrey. And guess why that money goes to the city of Surrey? To pay for the Surrey police force that they're trying to bring in, because they're going to be way over budgeted to bring officers into Surrey. So that's what they're doing. They're scrounging 50 cents out of each individual service, a customer. That money's not going to McDonald's. It's going to the city of Surrey. And you'll see the sign outside of McDonald's saying, City of Surrey, da-da-da-da, bylaw, na-na-na-na, 50 cents, and you got to pay for the bag. That's crap, folks. Anybody that is serviced at a store, and people are still handing out plastic bags, or they're asking, oh, bring your fabric bag, bring your bag with you. Now it comes to the point that you got to bring a fabric, you got to bring your own bag, and then now they don't have cashiers any longer. They fired them all. Now it's all self-service. Every store, even the dollar stores, Dollaramas, all the corporate stores are all going yourself. They're firing all these employees. Now they're no longer employed or employable. Like, give me a break, guys. Our governments are destroying people's lives by forcing them to no longer have work because they are using the robotics or self-servicing business way too far. They are not saving money. They're making more money because they're getting rid of the employees. Now, Amazon has something even better than that, so to speak, or worse than that. They have shopping carts. If you haven't seen it yet, they got shopping carts. The whole store has windows, okay? If you want to buy a certain product, you pull it out of the window, the door, you take out the service, whatever product you want to put in there, and you put it in the shopping cart, and the shopping cart automatically goes, doot. It picks up the USB number that quickly. Okay? You don't even have to take it to the counter to pay for it. Okay? Whatever goes out of the door gives the grand total, and then it goes into your bank account, and it automatically withdraws your card, your bank card. Because as soon as you walk out the door, they go, okay, and the cart will say, you put your card on it or your wrist on it, whatever you got jabbed, you name it. Okay, you walk out the door, you didn't steal anything because you put it in the cart, you're gone. That's what Amazon is doing. They have all these new carts. Okay, it's crazy. Oh, summer rain. I will talk to you about that one. Hang on to that thought, please. And remind me, if I do forget, please remind me in that story. Some major news on that one. So, like I said before, the shopping cart ordeal, Amazon's bringing that forward, that they're trying to encourage all of the stores to do the same thing. All the shopping carts can be changed. If not, they'll be putting in an addition, put on the machine. So as soon as you walk into the superstores or the Save On Foods or you name it, any kind of, especially with Anything that related that was owned by Bill Gates, Walmart's, you name it, all of them, they're going to all have those shopping carts with those machines on them. Again, sure, you have a self checkout, but your self checkout can still be in your shopping cart. You can pay it in you pay the shopping cart, walk out the door, automatically money's taken out of your bank account, just like that. Then it will question you on that screen. There's a screen in there. Do you really want to get this? Are you sure? Do you think you should have this? Are you sure? Well, who's telling me? Well, your government tells you, should you have this because you have this X amount of money in your bank account. If you get this, then you're going to be really short of that. That means you can't have this and you can't have that. That's exactly what our federal government is going to try and do. Is control your bank account. Control what you're allowed to have. You can't go freely to go play poker somewhere with some friends, or go out in the night and go have some fun and go do some drinking somewhere out in the see, grab a 6-pack or 12-pack of beer and go out with some friends and drink whatever party. They won't let you because your card, as soon as you go, dude, oh, I know where they're going. Oh yeah, check the arm. Okay, he's out in the field over there drinking. You're not supposed to be drinking. Look at your kids. Oh, look at this little screen here. Look at your kids over here. You're taking some food out of their um, off the shelves. They won't be able to have any food because you're drinking over there. You've been gone for a few hours. And now this poor kid's going to have no food for the next day or two because you had a drink. This is what the government's going to try to do to make you feel like as if you should feel really bad about yourself, that you're not allowed to do anything. They're going to start telling you what to do. They already have started telling you what to do because they told you to get the jab, and guess what? You did. Oh, I have to because they said I have to. You voted for them. They're not your leaders. They have never been a leader. They're representing you to help the country and help the people. But no, you guys are forgetting. They are in it to help themselves. Do you get it? Yeah. A friend of mine up in Minnesota, Steph, a lot of shelves are empty inside grocery stores as well. Yeah, a friend of mine in Minnesota was actually, he walked in the store and he took pictures, and Robert took pictures of the grocery, or I guess we say the coolers. They're all empty. And that was pretty well. I mean, this is a very large corporate store, all empty, okay, in Minnesota. I was like, wow. I mean, I thought we were bad, but they were worse than we were. Um, okay, so our turning into a real socialist country. What a shame! And it is actually absolutely. It's going to be crazy. They're trying to basically our Canadian government, and especially if, well, I would say the fake Trudeau, because the real one's not here, folks. Remember, the real one's not in this country. He's not. He's not even on this earth any longer. It's the fake one. But still, they are leading you up to make you believe that you got nothing left. Okay, that you know like even though everyone's trying to say, well, we're going to get our lives back together again. We'll go back to normal. No, you know why it's not going back to normal? Because you're no longer normal. You actually put something extra in your arm 2-3 times. That's not normal. So I notice people are not happy working at their jobs. They are all understaffed and being made to work extra hard. Yes, because these people are refusing to not get jabs, and so they're forced to not have jobs. There's so many nurses and doctors at hospitals that I know of, because my wife has her leukemia, and she goes and gets her blood done once a week. But yet she goes in and she'll the hospitals are getting lesser and lesser doctors and nurses because they refuse to get jabbed, and they are getting sick and tired of following the ridiculous protocols. The hospitals are the only buildings left that people are still wearing masks. But you know what? They're saying there's more people coming in the hospitals now and are quite sick. Well, gee, I wonder why. Jab, 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 jab. side effects, right? Now they're sick. Oh my God, I might have monkeypox. I'm going to turn into a chimpanzee. Really? I like to know who that person was that came up with the name monkeypox. It's just freaking shingles, folks. My wife got shingles because of the side effects of the medication that she's taken for her cancer. Side effects from her cancer pills. She got shingles. So, but did she get it fixed? Yes, she did. There's another kind of tradition that she got prescription from her doctor and they fixed it, and then within a week her shingles were gone. They're blue pills, but they do work, right? You got the red pill and the blue pill, but doesn't mean that she's gone bad. You'll notice on the screen of my camera that looks blue and is flashing a lot. That's from Spirit. Spirit's really active in the room right now, so they're getting bright, light, and bright. Okay, Summer Rain. Okay, before we start, I met you 7 years ago and had a reading. Good messages came through. Well, you're most welcome, Christina. Um, let's see. Where is she? That girl, Summer Rain. Now, I want to tell you about the Pope. Everyone knows that the real POPE has been gone for since 2020. Him and his cardinals have been taken out a long time ago, but the one that came in, or the ones that had arrived, were just actors, and when they showed up, and then I was really upset. I was perturbed as all heck when a Cree elder had addressed a new headdress, and given it to the Pope. I mean, I'm telling you guys, the Pope represented all of the residential schools. He represented, I'm not talking about just Canada, United States as well, because they also have the boarding schools. And the boarding schools, well, that's what was created by the for the First Nations children. And then Canada adopted it to residential school, the name, they changed it. And then even in Africa, they changed it to another type of boarding school in Africa as well. All three types of nations were tortured. Okay. And again, controlled and run by the Catholic diocese. Okay, the popes, leaders, cardinals, you name it, all of them were all involved in the torturing of the children. Now, I'm going to tell you guys something you may not know or do know. 80% in my research, and I told people this years ago, 80% of the practicing priests, most of them were serving time for child sexual attacks or whatever. I'm not going to call it. We'll call it pedos. Okay. Sexual assault of children. And they were serving 5 to 20 in Canada. But our illustrious, I guess it's a prime, or I guess an Indian Affairs Minister, Jean Chrétien, became in Department of Indian Affairs, but later on through the years, he became the Prime Minister of Canada. So, but through the years, there were actually a lot of the priests were, when Jacques Chrétien was who was the Prime Minister of Canada then? They were pardoned. So Chrétien said I guess basically stated that they needed, people leading the schools, and they would not bring in the really valued priests, so they brought in fake ones, but they had to study the Bible, and they would be forgiven of their services if they studied the Bible, and they'd be out sooner than they're supposed to. 80% of these guys served time in prison, federal pen. They were assigned to the residential schools once they got out. They were assigned. They didn't become priests from priesthood in the beginning and become who they are. No. They were told, and they were a racist before they began. And the nuns were the worst. The nuns were the worst. They love to slap, bang, kick, tease, bite, you name it, whatever they want to do, get away with it, yank your ear, pull you down, cut your hair, treat you like as if you're a piece of dirt. Because they also too serve some time. So if you guys think that this is that our Catholic churches were clean, no. You'll still hear priests, okay, ministers of the Catholic churches, still asking for forgiveness for having affairs with the congregation's wives that have been volunteering to make pies and baking and cooking, and they're secretly seeing the priest. And the priest said, I'll get the hell out of you if you have whatever with me. And they did it secretly for a long time, and then he got caught. And what did the priest do? He showed up in front of the congregation, goes, oh, I'm so sorry. The devil took me over. The devil did it to me. Blame the devil. He did it to me. Yes, I'm a sinner. I watched that stuff. And they get away with it. Oh, you're forgiven. Oh, yeah, great one. You're forgiven. Yes, okay, we'll stay leader. And they did. Right? So, anyways, I did not agree with the headdress being headdress being placed on the Pope. Why? Because what I always taught as a kid growing up, those headdresses have two to three representations. One, if you're a chief of your band. Two, if you were serving or had served in the military and you were wounded, you're given a headdress. Three, if you're being honored of high priority, prosperity, and you've done good for the people in the country, then they would, if they decide to honor you, but it has to be, you have to be honored by 6 high chiefs, not one freaking chief. It has to be 6 high chiefs. But what do? They went ahead. I mean, I got a friend of mine that actually makes headdresses, who knows the traditions, and even he was disgusted what he had saw. Well, not disgusted, he was actually sad to see that happen, because he already knew the bull crap that they went ahead and did that. Now, who paid these guys to do it? There's got to be money in transaction, some means of them doing this. And if you look at the video where the Pope received the headdress, he was mad as all can be. He didn't like that thing on his head. He hated it. Get this thing off me. I'm not kidding you guys. He didn't like it. You didn't see all of the video. You're just seeing bits and pieces of it, or hearing about it, or seeing pictures. He hated it. That man is as racist can be. And you guys sat there and took it. Oh, he's such a good man. Oh, I gotta pray for him. No. His people, all of the, you guys need to remember, they are members of the Red Shoe Society. Okay? The Red Shoe Society, I'm not talking about women dressed up and wearing red shoes. The Red Shoe Society, these shoes are, the skins are made of human skin. Children. The red represents the DEVIL. And they've been members of that for years and years and years. And if they like to, and sometimes they'll ask other members to come and join. There were other people that followed them that did that, not just priests and cardinals. I'm talking about politicians. Anybody come on board and they wore the red shoes, they become members of, which is all part of that. And you tell me they're clean? You ever walked into the Pope's building where he lives? Have you walked in there? Have you seen the huge cathedral inside where he works inside? It's all demonic. It's all serpent's time. The cross is upside down on the wall. There's a statue of Jesus being attacked by Satan himself. And you guys think this is funny? This is a joke? It's not. There's actually symbols of pedophilia on his clothing. Do your research. This man is the most demonic leader, well, he was the most demonic leader of all. I mean, what do you think? His eyes turned jet black. Here's what I found interesting. When a lot of our Métis First Nations people went up to Italy and and wanted the priest or wanted the Pope and them to give them to say, okay, um, get him to apologize. When they arrived, I remember watching one of the videos that the Pope just slung his right leg over the side of the chair and was just sitting there and just speaking Italian away. And he never admitted the fact that he did wrong. And he was just saying words, and you guys just gobbled it up. Oh, yeah, he apologized. No, he didn't. He never apologized whatsoever. And they were wearing black military boots. That was the first hint to all of you. Do you know every cardinal that came in that room? And that was symbolic. That was to show you guys something, to see the truth. I seen the Pope's shoes. Normally, when the Pope would come out, he'd be wearing regular white shoes. Okay, if he wanted to apologize to you gracefully, but he didn't. He wore army boots. Okay, army boots. So why would he wear army boots? Seriously. And I know what army boots look like because I was in the military as a kid. I was learning how to become a militarized child. My dad was in the military, so I was learning how to become a cadet. So I learned how to spat my shoes, shine them up, my hat, you name it, the whole 9 yards, my uniform. I learned all about that stuff. And my father told me there's only a certain kind of boot that's made by the military that we all wear. And they always have to be really, really shiny. I've never, ever seen a priest ever wear black leather militarized boots. Boots. Not shoes, boots. That was the first hint. And you guys missed it. Have a look again. Just if you guys can find that video and look at the Catholic priests or the cardinals and them and look at their shoes, their feet. You'll see. They're military boots. Those were cardinals. Those are those guys. They were military. They were just military soldiers under let's put it this way, under wolves and sheep clothing. They were wolves in sheep clothing. They were just pretending to be cardinals. They're pretending to be who they are. They weren't who they were. And if apparently the real Pope used to speak English quite well, but he only spoke Italian. Gee, I wonder why he spoke Italian. Only Italian. And they had a translator, and everyone kept on saying in the translator's room, they kept saying whatever the woman's saying, it's not exactly what he was supposed to be saying. So they're just doing this. She's just reading the script while he's talking, but it has nothing. The words did not match up, whether Italian translation or not. It just didn't match up. But you guys, if you don't know how to understand Italian, then it just gets buzzed by. Right? Look it carefully. I know very well that headdress was not going to go very far because I know very well what he'll end up doing. Whoever has the headdress, whoever that person is representing, they're going to end up, they'll just shove it away somewhere in a closet, piled up, not hung on the wall. No, they wouldn't care. Because they don't care. They never did. That's not their job. Their job is not to. They did this little transient travel to calm the First Nations and Métis people down, basically because we were always so mad and we want to burn churches down because it's supposed to be the 215 children and all the other kids that are supposed to have died in the residential schools. Okay. And yet, and then someone says, well, I think the Pope needs to come here. Why? You guys didn't get it. All these people that I thought that there was so much exposure of showing what was inside the Pope's cathedral. Okay, we call it cathedral, Catholic droll. You know why they call it cathedral? Catholic and droll. Droll means satanic following, the other. Do you know that? The other. So it's not what you think it is. Oh, Keith says the Pope met with someone from the Chinese government and Prince Rupert. Yeah, could be one of his followers. I mean, the thing is, I feel bad for the people that were. I'm not mad. I'm not mad at our Nations people. I love them so dearly, but I was kind of hoping they would see the truth, be shown the truth. They weren't shown the truth. They were lied to again. Every one of you folks that are First Nations, Indigenous, Métis, or even non-Indigenous, you got fooled. You got jacked up. Okay, you got fooled big time. If you fell for it and you swore you were hoping that was the Pope, and oh yeah, he looked like the Pope. He looked like the Pope. He wasn't the Pope. He was wearing a mask with a voice modulator. He was not the real Pope. The real Pope wasn't even here. Yeah, and they were grooming. Yeah, I know they were grooming him, grooming the Pope. They thought he was the most important person in the world. How is it that these guys also went to residential schools themselves, these chiefs? They went to residential school and they should know better. How their loved ones were tortured and abused. And then this dumbass idiot that I'm hearing about, Adrian Dix, or no, was it Adrian Dix? I think somebody's named Dix. Turns around and says that the residential school children never suffered, no one ever died. Um, there was no torturing. The children died natural causes. There's never wars, unmarked graves. Like, what the hell's going on here now? Everyone now is trying to change things around, and oh, it never happened. You're just your imagination. See, this is what happens after. That was mentioned after the Pope played the visit. Okay, after. So if the Pope just made his visit into Canada, and then after he left, and everybody's saying, well, some people saying, oh no, it never really happened. The resident school never happened. No, nobody suffered, nobody died. I've got people that I know from a lot of reservations across the northern BC and northern Alberta and Saskatchewan have told me there's so many unmarked graves. And the first thing that some of these elders had turned around and said, oh, all these unmarked graves, these are maybe made by our people, but not really by the priest. Really? Then how come there's so many stories of children running away, supposed to be running away, and there's witnesses of children that actually watch their sibling or friend or person that they lived with in that very same building were abused, and if they didn't do what the priest wanted them to do, what the nun wanted them to do, they'd take them downstairs and throw them in the furnace and kill them alive because they refused to be raped. And then they said, to tell the parents, oh, they ran away. You know why a lot of our Indigenous people were so messed up psychologically? Because they didn't even know what was right and what was wrong. They were taught what the priest tells them. They were taught what the nun teaches them, what they call right and wrong. Oh, I can kill him because I'm white. I can kill him because I'm a priest. I can do whatever I want because God said so. No, God never said that. But they're going to still play the same game. God said this and God said, no, God did not say that. On paper, man wrote it in the paper, in the book. God didn't say it. If you believe God said it, fine. And God said, let there be light. Okay, see the flashing behind my screen? Let there be light. Kind of cool. On YouTube, on my channel, when I said that, I poked my forehead and the light flashed. Thank you guys. The light flashed. They're letting me know. So, nanotech. Any questions out, guys? You're more than welcome to ask me. I would love to I would love to hear from you regarding this issue, whether it's regarding the Chiefs or Japan, or you're more welcome to call in too. Um, yeah, Kiko's Pope on a rope. Yeah, he's long gone. It's funny. We used to always say Pope on a rope, and didn't realize actually he really took the rope. Um, let's see here. Okay, so it says here, I'm a kinship care provider. I was talking to the social worker today, and she told me there is a possibility most child welfare offices in provincial and federal will be closing by the end of 2023, and the children will be taken over at the tribal level. Well, do you know what? Be honest with you, Submarine, I really think that's not a bad way, because at least you get that tribal level, you get equal rights, because no government should actually take a child away, none whatsoever. I mean, I have problems with the ministry here, um, the child family services, or um, you know, here in Surrey, they're even selling the kids. I'm seeing so many stories that some of the um, social workers are like, there are some families that some women are trying to wanting to her families want to adopt the kids. These are indigenous women, mothers and to be, want to adopt the children that are under foster care, and they're refusing them, and they're actually handing them over to white families out of province. So um, yeah. So are you, Submarine, are you for the tribal level to help to protect your child, or are you for the opposite? Let me know. Let's see if that makes sense. I'm not sure that makes sense. Okay. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Good. Yeah. Thank you. Okay. I got it right. Yeah. Yeah. You are for trouble, and it is. It should be. Like any our we always had tribal level. I mean, we had our organization called Métis Family Services, and when that started back in back in 2002, 2003, here in Surrey, and Teresa Dion, Bob Kelly, and a few others started the Métis Family Services to protect the Métis children and First Nations kids. It was meant to be an Indigenous rescue programming service. Tom Lalonde was also one of the people, one of the founding members of it. But what happened was, once the MCFD got involved, they slowly had to bring somebody in from their people to work with us, and so they brought in a lady by the name of Judy Smith, who is not Indigenous, and she's pro MCFD. So I did not know that at the time, and I was working as a counselor for them at the time, and they brought her in, and she became, I guess you say, the director of the service organization. But when she found out about me, that I'm a conflict of interest to her, as in, like, I have a mouth that doesn't want to cut up and shut up, and she didn't like it. And so she always continuously always wanted me to apologize to MCFD for not, I wasn't bad mouthing them. I was standing my grounds to say, yeah, that's not right what you're doing to the kids here, and that's not right doing the kids there. And she says, you can't do that. I go, yes, I can. I'm an Indigenous person. You're not. And that really made them angry. So she found a way to get me fired, to get me out of there, because I just knew too much, and I was too strong to help our community and the kids in the community and families. So the thing is that MCFD are under investigation. Okay. And the Ministry of Children and Family Services, they're actually under investigation for selling children. They're taking the children away from families, and they would basically, what they're doing is they would foster them out to non-indigenous families until they find a place for them, and whether whoever wants to adopt them. But basically, it's always, most of the time, it's supposed to be an indigenous person to foster them, and which there are plenty of them. But once a foster person who's indigenous offers to adopt the child, then next thing you know, they take the kids away from them and scoop them off somewhere outside the province of Canada, and then they would, I call them selling them to, which is basically, if you go online on the Canadian government line, it says it's illegal to adopt a child outside the province of our provinces. It has to be one direct, because it has to be all complete turndowns of, if there's no success of having a child be provided an adoption in the province of BC, for example, that child cannot be shipped out to Ontario. And that's exactly what MCFD has been doing for many times, too many years, is selling the kids. They fly them out, and then the families get charged $10,000, and the money that's made that comes back to the social workers, they get paid benefits. Yes, they're getting paid extra benefits from MCFD because they scoop the kid out to Ontario. Okay, so apparently in my area, 3 reserves have pulled their weight and have full control of the child welfare. Good, good, good. It's important. Like I said, we still are having that trouble, but I did say some things to, because I actually work at a radio station and I did expose them on radio. So MCFD right now is under investigation. It's going to be deep. They don't realize they're under investigation. So, well, they will now because I opened my mouth. But there's an internal investigation on them that they're going to be checked out because it's happened too much, too often. Okay. Again, this is all part of this corruption. MCFD is not they're not pure as you think they are. They are, they're in it for the money. They're not in it just to help families. They're in it for the money. Um, Now, go back to the nanobites before I finish, or nanotech. The nanotechnology, I talked about this about 2.5, 3 years ago. Just, I guess, I would say 2 years. And what I learned from it is, once the person gets the jab, I mean, it's basically what those nanotechnology is supposed to do is to basically mind control you. Okay. And so in your sleep, they mind control you. Once you put the jab in you, because there's nanobites inside your arm, and that's how the government likes to do that. Now, to prove it, like I said before at the beginning of the program, I can actually turn on my Bluetooth, turn on my phone, and and basically I can just put on your arm, not too far from you, just put near your arm, boom, boom, and the numbers come up. Okay, on the Q code, and your numbers will come up, and that comes with a letter and lots of numbers, and that tells me what jab you got. Because once you receive that jab, and I'll tell you how that works, folks, um, they will have the vial, and on the vial has the USB code. Okay, so they will actually see your name on there that you signed in, that you signatured. So they'll go deet on the machine, say this is the machine. You go deet, and the bottle deet. Now it matches up. Okay, they take what's out of there in your arm. Now it follows you. You don't have to even have your cell phone with you. You can leave your cell phone at home. They know everything about you. They can follow you everywhere, anywhere you go. You can leave your cell phone home. They'll know exactly who you've been with, where you've been, how long you've been there. They time you. Okay. Special groups of people actually are watching over you all the time, watching you. They know how your health is. They know everything. That's why you get emails or texts or even phone calls and say, we're getting a call from the health center, and we're saying that you're with so and so and so and so. You need to quarantine for 10 days. And if you follow what they tell you to do, people do that. Now, how did they know? They're not going to tell you that where it came from. All they know is that how they can. You're saying, well, how do they track me? Oh, maybe it's in my phone, the app. No, it's not. It's here. Now you know. Now, They know all of your private information, private medical information, everything. Okay? Private. Everything about you. Who you've been with, what you've been doing. And if anybody else has been jabbed, they know all those gatherings of people that you gathered with. The unjabbed, they'll warn you. Oh, you're with this person, not jabbed. That's fine. We find there's more than one person over here. Nah. We advise you not to be with that unjabbed person. And they ask you to leave or walk away. Okay. So, like I said before, you're going to see this, and you're going to see this a lot more. That's why I said before, the people that work, the servers that work in restaurants, any kind of businesses, they already have the Q code. They can walk up to you. Okay. Oh yeah, I see. Oh man, you have this problem. Okay. Well, I advise, say for example, a person is diabetic. You don't have to tell a person you're diabetic. They already know you're diabetic. Okay. Well, we won't give you that. Why are we? I mean, let's put it this way. Why are they responsible? Okay. All of a sudden, why are they responsible for knowing your health? They shouldn't be. They should be responsible to take your order, right? But not control your health. And this is exactly what's going to happen. Your government, they are going to see what you're doing, and they can see what you're doing, and they say, oh, well, I don't want you to buy this. And they'll give a message. Oh, no, I don't advise you to buy this because you don't need that. That's why do you think Trudeau said, you give up everything and you'll be happy? Well, because they want you to be robotic. They want to tell you what to do. Now, one thing I did not mention is that the kids. Why I said before, and I said that I'll repeat it over and over again. Bill Gates said on that video, I remember that day. I watched the video when it was sent to me, and he was sitting there next to his wife, or fake wife, sitting next to her, and he's sitting in the chair and he talking to her, so to speak, and he turned his head like this on the camera and he goes, I'm coming for the kids. That's what he said. Or I'm coming for the children. No, I'm coming for the children. And he was very direct, cold. I'm coming for the children. Now, how would you feel when someone like that says that to you? I'm coming for your children. That's scary. That is absolutely freaking scary. Why should he have the right to say that and get away with it? And yet we are saying, oh no, that's just Bill. Oh no, that's just Bill. No, it's not. He's as cold, as malicious as his father back in 1918. His father did the same thing with the Spanish flu. He created that virus himself because he was a scientist. He got everybody to do the same masking up. That was a practice session, by the way. Create an enforcement, telling people they have to wear a mask. If they didn't wear a mask, go to jail. Right? Trying to get everybody to put things in their arms. Oh yeah, he did all that. And again, the big fight was back in 1918. Now, how come it never went to the next generation? It didn't. They had to skip a generation so you would not know what really happened to match that up. So everything that happened today in this time, it also repeated itself the first time. The same stuff. Every role for those 2 years in 1918 to 1920, that same role repeated itself over again. So whatever happened back then, if you read about it now, it's the same thing. Right? Get the Lee Einfield out. What's Lee Einfield? I have no idea who they're talking about. Well, 303. So now, Summerrain also says, let's see here, what did she say? After those 3 reserve pulled out, the offices have no cases, and now hearing that they're going after immigrant families, isn't that pathetic? Without children, there is no funding to keep the genocide offices up and running. No. The thing is that what I've always believed when I was in Drift Pile, um, Summerine knows this, Drift Pile, Alberta, on reserve. When I was there, and when I was in the Drift Pile Health Center, when I walked in there, and I was talking to the ladies about it, and they told me after that the center itself did not belong to the band. The center itself belonged to the government. I'm going, are you kidding me? Right? Like, why did that, didn't make any sense. So, um, that tells me that the government was trying to control them who can come in the building, who cannot come in the building. So, if, say, for example, if you want to renovate the building and it needed renovation, needs some clean, some fixing, they wouldn't. They weren't even allowed to renovate or even to help to paint, give it a paint job, whatever have you. The government says no, you can't do that. It's our building. No, it's on a reserve. No, it's our building, and they believed it. It's your freaking reserve. It's the building is on your reserve. It's your building, not theirs. But for some reason, our government or these people that are on the reserves are believing that government owns everything. They own it. Oh, we own it. It's ours. No, it's not. It never belonged to you. You try to explain that to them? I remember a doctor came in, a German doctor, racist as all heck. He comes in, he's such an abuser, verbal abuser. Oh, he hates the people, but why was he there? Oh, because I need money. He's from Germany, right? But he's assigned there, and he's not well liked by the people there. I said, why don't you get yourself another doctor? Nobody wants to come. It's just crazy. A lot of doctors don't want to come to reservations to help doctor people if they need help, because they're told by the hospitals to stay away from the reservations. Why? Oh, they're going to hurt you. You're white. They're going to hurt you. What if something happens and then somebody gets sick and they're going to blame you for it? Not true. They're waiting for someone. Like, sure, we do have our medicine men, medicine women, but it's okay to have a doctor once in a while. Just come for checkups to see what's going on. But again, the only time they show up is if they get paid for it. Like, I can understand, sure, you get paid for it, but I mean, this doctor didn't show up because he cared. He came because I came for the money. That's it. Nothing more. Came for the money. So there needs to be